The upcoming video is an Eagles fan talking about Dak Prescott. If you're a whiny Cowboys fan, viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, YouTuberverse? It's your boy RB back again for another one. Today we talking about trouble in Jerry World and Joe Mixon getting sued for that incident that happened a few months back. Let's get into it. Nuance Machine episode 50. Let's kick it. All right, before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check out my shop, breezysprints.com, where you can find all original designs printed on high-quality tees, tank tops, sweatshirts, and hoodies. All designs are done by yours truly, and without further ado, let's get into it. Y'all, I can't wait till football season actually starts. The preseason is boring as hell, so the media is just making up stories out of nothing. And this one is definitely nothing, but it's funny and it involves the Cowboys, so I'm all in. There's been some drama in Cowboys camp, and Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have some problems already. So the other day at Dallas Cowboys camp, Dak Prescott was flushed out of the pocket, and the defense looked like it had won the play. And then this interaction ensued between Dak and Trayvon Diggs.
Uh-oh, that's done.
Go, Dak! Go, Dak! Go, Dak! Get out of the box!
Now, at first, this seems like just good old-fashioned trash talking between teammates, but I don't know, man. Some of that sounded kind of personal to me. Like, I love how Dak has his hands on his hips, like, "Hey, buddy, who do you think you're talking to?" Dak is such a goofy dude, man. And if anything says I lack swagger, it's this right here. And in my opinion, that's Dak's problem. Like, he just lacks swagger. He just seems so unsure of himself sometimes. I'm sure interactions like this with his teammates don't help that psyche. Look, I get it, Diggs is fired up in this moment, and the trash talking doesn't necessarily go away just because you're teammates. But this is worse than anything that I call Dak. I call Dak slightly better than average, man. Because think about it. His whole career, he's been ranked, between like 10th and 15th as far as the best quarterbacks in the league. His size, his arm talent, his accuracy, all are just slightly better than average. Now, I'm speculating when I say this, but I would assume that if Dak throws a bomb over Diggs' head in practice for a touchdown, he's not going to go run up in Diggs' face and have some swagger about him. No. And if he did, I can almost guarantee you that Diggs' reaction wouldn't be, "Now, you look here, buddy. Treat me with some respect around here, or I'll put my foot up your patootie." Look, I talk shit, but I actually think the Cowboys can win with Dak. They had a really good team last year. They still have a really good team this year. Brian Schottenheimer has created this Dak-friendly offense, whatever the hell that means. I guess last year's offense was too mean to Dak since he led the league in interceptions. In only 12 games, I might add. He missed 5 games. He led the league in interceptions in 12 games. So, yeah, they definitely needed a more Dak-friendly offense because that offense kicked Dak's ass last year. In the NFL, there's so much parity that all the Cowboys really need is just a good run at the right time. Hell, there's been plenty of slightly better than average quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. My man Nick Foles, Joe Flacco, Eli Manning, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer. Like, it's not impossible. It's just very, very difficult. And it's going to be even more difficult if the team doesn't respect the quarterback. And based off of this, it looks like Trayvon Diggs does not respect Dak. So we're going to transition here to this Joe Mixon situation. This story is just like a perfect example of how immersed in the gun culture that we really are. Do you remember the Joe Mixon story involving a teenager getting shot in the foot on Joe Mixon's property while playing Nerf wars with his friends? Well, the family of that kid that got shot is suing Joe Mixon for negligence for the incident. The incident happened on Mixon's property. Mixon's weapon was the one that fired the shot, but Mixon did not pull the trigger. Mixon's sister's boyfriend, Lamonte Brewer, is the one that pulled the trigger. The family says that they've offered to settle out of court multiple times, but Mixon is firm in his belief that he did nothing wrong. Now, this one hits home for me because I remember playing airsoft guns when I was a teenager, probably the exact same age this kid was, 16 years old, running through people's yards, not having a care in the world, like not even thinking that the gun might look real from a distance. You know, they're plastic airsoft guns. They shoot little plastic balls at people. But someone called the police on us. And to think that somebody could take that a step further and not just call the police, but actually come out wielding a gun, a real gun, didn't even cross my mind at that time. Now as an adult, I'm thinking, man, we were lucky. So lucky that just the police were called and that those police also didn't think that we had real weapons. Look, I'm also a parent of an 11-year-old boy, and I've already had conversations with him about not playing around in people's yards. Don't even cut through a neighbor's yard, because that's the only excuse someone needs to shoot you. Like this isn't like the times we grew up in. You know, everybody has weapons. You know, just stepping into someone's property makes you a threat to some people. So, and another thing that kills me is that adults complain constantly about how kids don't play outside anymore. Well, here we have kids playing outside, but you know, we're so conditioned to be afraid, man. It's not like Mixon was in the hood. Like Mixon's neighbors sold their house for $2.175 million. It's a rich neighborhood. And I'm not saying that Mixon possibly being a target isn't possible, but living in that neighborhood makes it far, far less likely. Incidents like this are why people want gun owners to have insurance. And for all of you all that are like, are you anti-gun? Like, this is obviously just a money grab. How could you not be on Mixon's side? Yeah, I agree. This is just a money grab. I'm sorry, but somebody's child got shot on Mixon's property with Mixon's weapon. Like, imagine if that was your kid. What would you do? Me personally, I'd want to whoop his ass. But you know, he's a professional athlete, and I don't want to end up in the hospital bed next to my kid that just got shot. So the next course of action is to try to financially bitch slap him as hard as you possibly can. And hell, I'd do that. Not to mention all the medical bills, the physical therapy costs, the sheer emotional damage. Emotional damage! Only being 16 years old and being shot by an adult. Now, I know that Mixon didn't pull the trigger, but the weapon did belong to him. I'm speculating, but it seems like he left his Estava M92 out for anyone to use. Look, I'm not anti-gun. I'm not. I believe in everyone's Second Amendment rights. And again, I'm just speculating, but we don't know exactly what happened inside that Mixon house that led to the shooting. And it's a fair question to ask, how did Brewer end up with Mixon's loaded weapon in his possession? Was it just laying around? Was it hidden, but Brewer knew where it was? Was it locked, but Brewer knew the combination? Look, if he left this weapon just laying around, or if he told other people in the home exactly where it was for someone else to pick it up, it's just kind of wild to me. Like maybe it's because I'm not that immersed into the whole gun culture like that, but I don't want anyone to know if I have guns or not. I don't want anyone to know where they're hidden, because I'm responsible for those weapons. Like, they kill people. Now I think Mixon should have just settled out of court, just because he may end up paying a much larger sum of money than what they were originally asking for. And look, this is a tough situation. You know, when you're in today's society and everybody has a weapon, it can be really tough to determine like what's real and what's not. You just see someone out in your yard with what looks like a weapon from a distance. You know, your first instinct is to do what happened in the Mixon household. But Mixon did go outside and talk to those kids before any shots were fired. So that's a huge caveat to the story that I feel like is weird. But yeah, Mixon definitely should have settled out of court. But yeah, that's going to be all for this one, guys. I will see you on the next one.
Can't wait.
Love you guys. Peace.
Dark side, light this bitch up.